Every single month, you willingly transfer money to one of the most sophisticated extraction systems ever designed, and you do it without questioning a single line item on the bill. You pay it like clockwork. You think it's fixed. You think it's fair. You think you're paying for electricity. But you're not. You're paying for a manufactured scarcity, a pricing architecture deliberately engineered to penalize you for existing during certain hours of the day, and a silent army of devices in your home that consume power even when you believe they're off. The average American household hemorrhages between $400 and $600 per year to what I call the ghost economy of their electric bill, money that evaporates into thin air through mechanisms they've never been taught to see. This isn't an accident. This is by design. The utility companies, the deregulated energy markets, and even the appliance manufacturers have aligned their incentives in a way that ensures you remain a passive participant in your own financial erosion. And here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody in mainstream finance wants to discuss. Your electric bill is not an expense. It's a recurring tax on your ignorance, a lifestyle leak that compounds over decades, silently undermining your ability to build real wealth while you obsess over your 401k contributions and forget that financial freedom is one of the margins, in the details, in the line items that nobody glamorizes because they're not sexy enough for a TikTok video. My name is Xavier. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on the hidden architecture of your electric bill and exposing precise mechanisms through which peak pricing, energy deregulation, vampire power, and overlooked energy audits drain your capital in ways that would make any Wall Street fee structure blush with envy. If you value high-level financial clarity over surface-level noise, if you understand that wealth is built through asymmetric awareness and not just income, you may want to join this network by subscribing. Let's begin. To understand why your electric bill functions as a hidden tax, you first need to understand how the American energy market was fundamentally restructured over the past 3 decades. Before the 1990s, electricity in most states operated as a straightforward regulated monopoly. One utility company generated, transmitted, and delivered your power. The price was set by state regulators. It was simple. It was transparent. It was, in many ways, boring. Then came deregulation, sold to the American public as a path to lower prices and more consumer choice. The same language they always use when they're about to introduce complexity that benefits sophisticated players at the expense of the uninformed. Today, roughly half of American states operate under some form of energy deregulation, meaning the generation of electricity has been separated from its delivery, and private companies now compete to sell you power through a bewildering maze of rate structures, contract terms, and pricing models that would require a law degree to fully decode. Texas, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Illinois, New York. If you live in one of these states, you're swimming in a deregulated market, and the odds are stacked against you unless you understand the rules of the game. Here's where peak pricing enters the equation, and this is where the extraction becomes truly elegant in its brutality. Peak pricing, sometimes called time-of-use pricing or demand pricing, is a rate structure that charges you dramatically more for electricity during hours of high demand. On paper, this sounds reasonable. Economics 101 tells us that prices rise when demand exceeds supply. But examine the execution more closely. The peak hours in most American markets fall precisely during the times when working people are home, between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. on weekdays, the exact window when you return from your 9 to 5. Cook dinner, run the dishwasher, do laundry, and finally have the chance to exist in your own home. The system is calibrated against your schedule. You're being penalized for having a job. Let that sink in. The price of electricity can spike by 200 to 300% during these peak windows compared to off-peak hours. And most Americans have no idea this is happening because their utility bill arrives as a single aggregate number that obscures the hourly dynamics underneath. You're paying a premium for the privilege of living your life during the only hours available to you. And utility companies call this encouraging efficient energy use while collecting the spread. Now layer on top of this the vampire power phenomenon, a term I prefer to call what it really is, a lifestyle leak operating at the circuit level of your existence. Vampire power refers to the energy consumed by electronic devices and appliances when they are turned off but still plugged in. Your television, your gaming console, your phone charger, your microwave with its glowing clock, your laptop in sleep mode, your smart speaker waiting for a wake word, your cable box that never truly sleeps. All of these devices maintain a parasitic draw on your electrical system around the clock. Studies from the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory estimate that vampire power accounts for 5 to 10% of residential electricity use in American homes. 10%. That's not a rounding error. That's a structural leak. Applied to the average American electric bill of roughly $120 per month, you're looking at $12 to $24 per month evaporating into devices that aren't doing anything for you. Annualized, that's $144 to $288. Over a decade, with modest inflation adjustments, you're approaching $2,000 to $3,500 in pure waste. And here's the compounding tragedy. That money wasn't just spent. It was denied the opportunity to compound elsewhere. The opportunity cost of vampire power isn't just the dollars lost. It's the future value of those dollars had they been allocated into appreciating assets. This is the kind of thinking that separates those who build wealth from those who wonder why it never arrives. The lifestyle leak framework is essential here because it reframes expenses like this not as inevitable costs but as decision points. Every leak in your financial life is a place where capital escapes your control and enters someone else's balance sheet. The subscription you forgot to cancel. The premium you pay for brand-name drugs when generics are chemically identical. The interest on the credit card you carry the balance on because you didn't set up autopay. And yes, the electricity you pay for devices that are doing literally nothing. These leaks are invisible until you train yourself to see them, and most people never do because they're too busy optimizing for income rather than retention. But wealth is not built solely by earning more. Wealth is built by the differential between what you earn and what you leak. Every dollar that escapes your system is a dollar that can't compound, can't invest, can't work for you while you sleep. This is why the elite focus on infrastructure, on systems that eliminate friction and waste, while the middle class focuses on tactics, on one-time wins that feel good, but don't change the underlying architecture of their financial lives. This brings us to the energy audit, a tool so powerful and yet so underutilized that it represents one of the highest leverage moves available to any American homeowner or renter with the agency to implement its findings. An energy audit is a systematic assessment of how energy flows through your living space and where it's being wasted. You can hire a professional auditor, often through your utility company at reduced or no cost, or you can conduct a basic audit yourself with nothing more than awareness and a willingness to examine the details. The audit will reveal insulation gaps where heated or cooled air escapes. It will identify outdated appliances operating at efficiencies that would have been unacceptable 20 years ago. It will expose the phantom loads of vampire power hiding in plain sight. It will quantify the cost of that second refrigerator in the garage that you barely use. It will show you that the incandescent bulbs you still haven't replaced are converting 90% of their energy into heat rather than light. An audit turns the invisible visible. It gives you a map of the terrain. And once you have the map, you can make strategic decisions about where to allocate capital for maximum return. Replacing a 15-year-old HVAC system might cost $8,000 upfront. But if it reduces your monthly bill by $80 and improves your home's resale value, the payback period and the asymmetric upside become clear. This is capital allocation thinking applied to your household. The same framework that private equity uses to evaluate acquisitions, now deployed in your basement. Consider also how peak pricing interacts with deregulated markets to create arbitrage opportunities that most consumers never explore. In deregulated states, you have the right to choose your electricity provider. You are not locked into the default utility company for the generation component of your bill. Retail energy providers, or REPs, compete for your business with different rate structures. Some offer fixed rates. Some offer variable rates tied to wholesale markets. Some offer plans with free nights or free weekends. The informed consumer can strategically select a plan that aligns with their energy usage patterns. If you work from home and consume most of your electricity during off-peak hours, a time-of-use plan with aggressive peak pricing might actually save you money because you're rarely drawing power during expensive windows. If your schedule is unpredictable, a flat-rate fixed plan provides certainty and eliminates the risk of bill shock. The point is that choice exists, but only for those who exercise it. The default, the path of least resistance, is to remain on whatever plan the utility assigned you when you moved in, a plan almost certainly optimized for their revenue rather than your savings. This is a tax on passivity. This is the price of not paying attention. And let's be brutally honest about why most people don't pay attention. The hedonic treadmill has conditioned Americans to focus their financial energy on consumption rather than optimization. We're trained to desire the next upgrade, the larger home, the newer car, the premium streaming package, while ignoring the foundational systems that bleed us slowly. There's no dopamine hit from negotiating a better electricity rate. There's no social status from installing a smart power strip that cuts phantom loads. Nobody posts their energy audit results on Instagram. So these moves remain invisible, unsexy, and therefore undone. But this is precisely why they're so powerful. The competition is low. The returns are real, and the discipline required to execute them builds the mental architecture for larger financial victories down the road. If you can't be trusted to plug your television into a power strip that cuts its standby draw, how can you be trusted to make clear-eyed decisions about asset allocation, tax optimization, or business acquisitions? The small things are the training ground for the large things. Mastery of the margins precedes mastery of the millions. Let's talk about specific, actionable strategies because theory without execution is entertainment, not education. First, audit every device in your home for vampire power. Walk through with a kilowatt meter or equivalent and measure the standby draw of each plugged-in device. You'll be shocked, literally, at what you find. The cable box alone often draws 20 to 30 watts continuously, costing $20 to $30 per year even when you're not watching television. Smart power strips can automatically cut power to peripherals when the main device is off. Advanced power strips with infrared sensors or timers can eliminate phantom loads entirely. Second, request your utility company's time of use rate data and map your actual consumption against it. Many utilities now offer smart meters and online portals that show hourly usage. If you're hemorrhaging during peak hours, shift discretionary loads, laundry, dishwashing, EV charging, to off-peak windows. Third, if you're in a deregulated state, spend an hour on the Public Utility Commission's website comparing available energy plans. Use your last 12 months of usage data to model what each plan would have cost you. The math is often surprising. Fourth, schedule a professional energy audit or use the Department of Energy's DIY audit guide to identify insulation failures, air leaks, and inefficient appliances. Many utilities offer rebates for energy-efficient upgrades that reduce your upfront cost and accelerate payback. Fifth, consider solar if your home's orientation and local incentives support it. The federal solar investment tax credit still offers a 30% credit on installation costs, a direct reduction in your federal tax liability that most Americans don't realize is available to them. Solar transforms you from a consumer of electricity into a producer, fundamentally inverting your relationship with the grid and its peak pricing schemes. The deeper principle here is one that applies across every domain of financial life. You're either architecting systems that compound in your favor, or you're trapped in systems that compound against you. There is no neutral ground. Every bill you pay without scrutiny, every default setting you accept without question, every pricing structure you absorb without negotiation is a vote for the status quo. And the status quo is not designed to make you wealthy. It's designed to transfer your wealth to those who understand the game better than you do. The utility company understands peak pricing. The appliance manufacturer understands you won't unplug the microwave. The deregulated market understands you won't compare rates. And year after year, the compounding effect of these small losses adds up to a life of financial underperformance that you blame on your income, your luck, or your circumstances, never realizing that the architecture itself was rigged against you from the start. This is not about pinching pennies. This is about understanding that capital is gravity, and leaks in your system prevent you from reaching escape velocity. The wealthy don't just earn more, they retain more. They audit their lives for inefficiency. They eliminate the friction that creates drag on their forward motion. They understand that $300 per year in vampire power is not trivial. It's $300 that could have purchased shares in a dividend-paying asset, compounding quietly in the background for decades. They understand that $500 per year in peak pricing premiums is not inevitable. It's $500 that could have funded a Roth IRA contribution, growing tax-free until retirement. The aggregate effect of these decisions, made consistently over 20 or 30 years, is the difference between retirement at 60 and retirement at 70, between financial freedom and financial anxiety, between building a legacy and simply surviving. So here's the uncomfortable question I want to leave you with. The question designed to provoke reflection rather than comfort. If you don't know what you paid per kilowatt hour last month, if you don't know whether your state is regulated or deregulated, if you don't know which devices in your home are drawing power right now as you watch this, if you've never audited your energy consumption or compared alternative providers, then what else in your financial life are you accepting on autopilot? What other hidden taxes are you paying without awareness? What other lifestyle leaks are draining your future wealth while you focus on gross income and ignore net retention? The electric bill is a microcosm. It's a training exercise. It's a low-stakes arena where you can practice the skills of scrutiny, optimization, and strategic decision-making that will serve you when the stakes are much higher. Master the margins here, and you'll carry that mastery into every financial decision you ever make. The hidden tax on your electric bill is not hidden because the information is unavailable. It's hidden because you were never taught to look. Now you know where to look. Now you know what to look for. The only question remaining is whether you'll act on that knowledge or return to the comfortable autopilot that has been quietly extracting your wealth all along. The choice, as it always has been, is entirely yours.